Hi everyone, it's Minnesoma here. Today is 27th of July 2025 and we're going to look at the market recap this week. Majority of the companies are on the green area for this week. That's great. On the 1 week performance, we have the healthcare, the basic materials and industrial on a very strong levels leading the board this week with industrials of 2.2% up, basic materials 2.66% up, and healthcare 3.66% up. We have very low levels of volatility between the SP 500 and the VIX. This is traditionally leading normal upside movement. You can see that when the volatility increases, then the potential minimums are reached on the SP 500, and in the contrary happens. So when you have low levels of volatility, the market keeps going up and up and up. And when the opposite happened here, then there are high chances that we might enter into a correction phase. The Nasdaq is leading the upside movement with an 11.29%. If you have followed the previous videos, you will believe that that was kind of difficult, seeing that the Eurostock 50 was leading this year. But then quickly after the April correction, we have a normal go back to the all-time highs, where the Nasdaq is currently at the moment. We have the Eurostock 50 with a 9.92%, which is very good for annual return on that given year. Then the SP 500 with an 8.86%, and the Dow Jones with a 5.92%. Since the beginning of the year, we have the Dow Jones, the SP 500, and the Nasdaq on a non-entry area, and recently we have the entry signal for all those indexes, meaning that there is a high potential return on the trend. Dow Jones Industrial Average, we pretty much have the price almost at all-time highs. That will be the first resistance area. We can take this as a head and shoulders inverted, where this is the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. Personally, I would like to see the right shoulder at the equal or similar level as the previous one. That's why the structure is not entirely clear, but taking the consideration that we overcame the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level by matter of probabilities discussed here on previous videos. We announced that it was highly chances to go to all-time highs, which is essentially what we're looking now. And now it's very important that we break through the all-time highs to activate another massive structure. That hasn't been activated, but if it will do, we will comment as it occurs. The Russell 2000, not as strong as the other indexes, but we can consider this as an actual bullish flag, and then we can basically measure the objective towards the 2400 area, which is equal to the previous all-time highs. So that's basically by matter of probabilities the direction of the Russell 2000. Moving into the SP 500, we've got the SP 500 at no new all-time highs. We overcame the 61.8. The first area of support will be the 200 moving average, and then levels of all this upside movement. So let's say that the stock market start correcting from Monday next week. This is completely hypothetical, doesn't happen. We will measure this amplitude movement from the minimum to the maximum, and then our first support areas will be the 38.2, the 50%, and the 61.8, plus obviously the 200 moving averages, as well as the price minimums that has been leading in the past. So we have this one, we have this one, and we have this one. So far, good looking. And making basically a clean structure going up, nothing to discuss on the SP 500, and essentially the same structure for the Nasdaq. Both of them has essentially the same structure. Both of them has activated the same long-term target, and the analysis will be exactly the same one as the SP 500. Moving into stocks, we have Apple currently as hitting the first area of resistance, which is the 214. If we go over that, then the next area will be the 225, 250, and the all-time highs. We can measure this as an actual Fibonacci retracement wave movement. We are hitting on the 50% average, 50% Fibonacci retracement. And then we will have the first area's resistance equal to this one. So it will be the 224. hitting on the resistance, we need to wait, and important to look for the support levels over here. Moving into Amazon, so Amazon did something very great, which is we overcame the 61.8. So now, following a discretional analysis, we're now heading towards all-time highs, which is 242, with first area of support, 200 moving average, and levels of this upside movement. Moving into Google, essentially the same, all the way towards the all-time highs. However, be careful with this candle because it looks as a Marubosu, almost Marubosu black, which is kind of bullish, bearish, apologies, structure. So it's very important the price breaks the previous open at 197.03. If that's the case, then all the way to all-time highs. Meta currently on correction. In contrary with the other stocks, we went to the all-time highs. And now we activated a second Fibonacci retracement wave, which is fantastic, towards above the 1,000 area. But in the short term, we are now in a natural correction. It's very important that we break through these previous minimum. And first area as a support, we have the 200 moving average area. And then naturally, we will have the Fibonacci retracement. So 38, 50, and 61.8. Microsoft, absolutely wonderful behavior over these months. We've got this trend line that was broke with a massive bullish gap, this area as a support, beautiful trend line that we can draw here, and then this will be our first resistance area in the short term. Then we have this previous minimum, then we have this one, then the 200 moving average that will be ascending, and then levels of all this Fibonacci retracement movement. So far, very good looking. Microsoft, if you have already on your portfolio, great. If not, we need to wait until a clear signal is being activated. So far, it's an actual hold stock rather than buying or selling. NVIDIA, we had here activated a downtrend channel. We had the objective as well achieved around the 163 area. And look what happened essentially when the target was hit. It just simply bounced it back to the previous or this area that now acts as an actual support. And in the short term, we are making another trend line over here that you can draw simply. And then you do have 200 moving average as a resistance, 95 as an area of support, and 86 as a level of support, plus Fibonacci retracement level. Finally, Tesla. So Tesla was making a triangle or a symmetrical triangle. I need to redraw this actually. So we have here the support area and this point over here. And it's very important that we don't lose the 288, the 273. Otherwise, the structure will look ugly. First resistance area, the 338, 357, and 367. And finally, moving into crypto. So we have the Bitcoin that make few recent weeks and at all-time highs around the, where is that exactly? The 123,000 US dollar the coin. In the short term, we are making a normal consolidation pattern. If we break above, then normal continuation of the structure. If we break below, then the first area as a resistance support will be the 200 moving average, 98,074. Moving into Ethereum, not as strong at Bitcoin, but over these few weeks has had a normal second Fibonacci retracement area. We can consider this as a first leg, normal correction, and then we have the projection for the second leg. And that was the target activated around the 3,500 area. And right now we don't have any structure. The first area support, even though it's too far at the moment, is the 2,400 moving average, the 2,116, and then the 1,400. Not as good shape as Bitcoin overall. Ethereum If you have to decline for one of the two, I'll still decline for Bitcoin, but it doesn't matter what I want to choose. At the end of the day, you need to have a system that tells you when to enter, when to exit, and when to do X and when to do Y. Here we are only commenting different variety of securities, different variety of stocks, indexes. It doesn't mean that you need to take those and buy. All those videos are entirely built for educational purposes. And as usual, if you want to analyze me to analyze any of your stocks, please drop it in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you like, you subscribe, you give a like onto the video, and see you until next time. Bye bye.